Slightly ahead at the moment.
Don't say it. So I guess my story begins when I started at Lancaster University doing my undergrad degree. In the first term, I didn't join rowing, so I basically had been out of sport for a little while. When I was younger, I used to play football, rugby, basketball, all of those things, tennis, and I competed at quite a high level. But towards the end of school and before I started university, I'd sort of moved away from that. I hadn't been involved in sport, I wasn't in the best shape, and so I didn't join a sports team for my first term. But like 2 of my housemates did, and I basically saw them sort of get a lot fitter. They were meeting new people, getting really close with their crews. They were going to different places to compete in races against other universities like Manchester and Liverpool. And I was quite envious of that. I felt like I was missing out on a part of the uni experience, I guess. And I wasn't doing as much with my time as I could have been. So basically in the second term, through my housemate, I contacted the coach and said, like, look, I'm really interested in joining. So I turned up to the testing that they had. So that first week, I think they had a 5k and a 2k in the same week. So I basically turned up having never used a rowing machine before. And the first thing I ever did was a 2k test. So my first ever time was 7 minutes and 49 seconds. So like, that's pretty slow. That's not even like a sign of this guy's got potential. That was just pretty slow. And after that, I basically had, I think I had, you know, a couple of coach erg sessions with the coach, and he said, you know, he allowed me to go into the boat. He basically liked that I'd really committed myself and gone and done those tests, showed that I was willing to do the training. So he put me in the novice men's C crew, so the lowest crew they had in Lancaster. And after 2 outings, they basically said, well, we're going to Bucks Head, which is like one of the biggest head races for universities in the UK, next week. So if you want to go, then we'd like to have you in the crew. So basically, like, my 3rd or 4th outing ended up being at Bucks Head, and we finished, I think, 2nd or 3rd from last. So like, I don't know, this basically saying that my start to rowing was not a glamorous thing, right? So I didn't just get put straight in the top crew. In fact, it was the opposite. I was in the bottom crew because I was a late starter. But I just sort of persevered with it. My first year, I got up to the B crew by the end, and I actually got my 2k to 6:58. So in a few weeks of like getting back into fitness training, really taking it seriously, I dropped like, you know, 50 seconds off my 2k. So I was pretty happy with that. And going into my second year, I was like still, you know, I was enjoying rowing, but I wasn't that committed to it, I guess you could say. My university work started to ramp up, and in the first term I really did hardly any rowing again. So I think it was because I had 1 foot out. I wasn't really fully committed, so I took another term out of rowing and then came back again and missed it again. So I was quite inconsistent in the first periods, but from then on I had about 18 months where I really committed myself to rowing. In my second year, I got my 2k down to 6:48, and I was in the B crew still. I was just outside of that top 8. So that summer I went home and joined Grosvenor Rowing Club in Chester and spent a summer there. I think I came on quite a lot. The standard wasn't, you know, massively high. It was good, but I think the coaching was good and I progressed as a rower there. And I came back into the top 8 in my 3rd year, having, you know, really trained hard and improved a lot of things. And that's my 3rd year was when it really started to you know, started to pay off. So my 2K in third year was 6 minutes 40. I got 6:39 I think as well, like late on. That was my personal best for a long time. And I went to things like the Head of the River race in London on the Thames. I went to Metropolitan Regatta and got to the final in IM2 in a 4. And then I finally won my first race. So I hadn't de-noviced until my final year of uni. And in fact, it was my last race, which was Durham Regatta in the north. So I de-noviced at IM2-4 at Durham, which was, you know, not the usual way to do it, but it really paid off. And basically that's my experience with rowing at university. So since then I've come back as a master's student and carried it on in quite a different way. But I'd just say I was very inconsistent, and I wasn't you know, the natural who just went straight into the top crew. So I think for you guys, it's something that anyone can try and anyone can really get better at and really progress. It's not like reserved. At most universities, it's not reserved for people who are 6'6" and like massive guys. You know, I was tall, but I was very skinny. Like, I'll put a picture up here. And I basically was inconsistent, but in the end, the gradual improvements really allowed me over the 3 years to get a lot out of the sport. And by the end of my third year, I was competing at a good level and just super enjoying it. So I think I just recommend it to anyone. Getting involved in a team sport at uni it unlocks a lot of things that you wouldn't have otherwise. Like, university is a really great experience, but I think doing a sport is one of the better things that I actually did. So I definitely recommend it to you, and that's basically my rowing story. The next chapter, you know, I'm not sure. I'm hoping that when I leave university I can move into a location where there's a rowing club, and I definitely am looking to carry it on. But in the short term, I've got these races coming up, so I'm really excited for that. So a bit of a different video. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I just thought it would be fun to share my story. A few of you have asked before how I got into the sport, so that's basically it. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment below with your own story. Like, I'd love to hear how you guys got into it as well. Some people start as in school, some at university, some later in life. So, you know, it's a sport where you can get a lot out of it no matter how you come to the sport. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video with some rowing.